Number 3, Computer Programming B. I forget which lecture it is, but from your quiz, one of the big skills is writing your own functions. Why? Because one thing about computer programs is you want to reuse code. And functions is a good way to shortcut these different features or jobs of your program. These ones are very simple. They do calculations for the most part, and right now we're just transforming math formulas. But if you attempt the ones down here that have to deal with determinants, you're going to see that lots of procedures or lines of code are repeated. You may want to think about creating your own functions for that. They used to be called subroutines. They are just procedures that help you out. Long term, when you write giant programs or think about like Facebook or Amazon and what goes on there, they modularize or they write a whole bunch of complicated functions, like billions upon billions of lines of code, and you can't make sense of each single line. But you can think about, okay, there are big functions going on here, and I understand what it does. Input goes in, output comes out, and then you can work within that environment. So for your assignment 3, we're going to do a very small example of that. All these examples are inspired from your textbook, so I linked the inspiration. If you're especially stuck, go here, work through these exercises. Sometimes they show you the answer, in which case you can check your work. I do use this as inspiration for your quiz too. So this is your go-to reference. I unfortunately, in my current state, can't keep up with up-to-date slides that I personally make to our classes. So this will be the intermediary until I get my stuff together. All right, use this textbook. And to demonstrate, I will do something very similar to temperature conversion. In my earlier class, I did centimeters to inches and the reverse inches to centimeter. For us, we will demonstrate this short example with kilograms to grams. No. I want to do pounds to grams. Yes, so we're switching systems. And this one will be grams to pounds. Okay? So right now, I opened up a new trinket. I will post this code into the slides, and you have reference to this large enough so you can follow along. These are called your function definitions. Def, as seen in your quiz, defines a function. What's that function's name? This one's called LBS underscore 2 underscore grams. And right now, we're taking in a number called pounds. But let's say we don't have that there. Your starter code has something that looks like this. Pounds to, or LBS to grams code goes here. I'm going to zoom out slightly so it all fits. You can do better. There we go. And maybe down here, the opposite. This is very similar to the starter code that I gave you. Grams to pounds will go down here. Just to make sure that you're off to everything's working, I call these sanity checks because oftentimes if I'm programming for extended period of times, I lose my mind and I am no longer sane. So to check some things, once you run your program, let's just see pounds to grams and grams to pounds work for us. What do I mean by that? When I call the function, I type in LBS underscore 2 grams with no arguments. Notice the parentheses are blank. I should see it print out pounds like this exact text that I gave it. Great. I just defined a function. I made my own function, LBS to grams, and I called it. Let's do that here too. And I'm going to delete that argument. Grams underscore LBS. Oops, I typed it wrong. B. Grams to, notice, so this is, so notice here, I deleted the word grams, and I didn't rerun my code. So right now, the Python is telling us it's expecting a number. It's expecting some variable to be used here, but I'm giving it none, so it's complaining. Whenever you make a change to your script or your program over here, in order for the console to recognize it or Python to recognize it, you have to rerun your code. And then we'll pull up the console, we'll press enter. And now if I do grams underscore 2 LBS, no argument, it tells me what I'm expecting. Questions? This is how we call the functions, and now we're going to be passing in a variable. But first, Google, help me out. What is libs pounds? That many. So I need this number. This is the conversion. For about 1 pound, there are 453 grams. So if I give it a number, pounds, let's say, LBS, and I want to print out the grams, I have to multiply this number by pounds. Notice that I added in a variable here. That's called an argument. And now, if I run my code, bring up my console, press enter, and I do pounds to grams, exactly as I typed it, and I put in 1 pound. Oops. I forgot to change this line of code. Grams. I will rerun this and do that once more. Oops, oopsies. LBS, not labs, LBS 2 grams. Watch the spelling. 1, and I see 543. Cool. Notice that I did a print here. You could have also done a return to get a similar output, and I'll tell you the difference, if not this week, then for sure next week. You could also have done return grams, and you would have seen your answer being shown on the console. Let's check. LBS 2 grams. 1. Yep, and I see a number just like before, except I used the return statement. Questions? Your programs for this assignment will largely look like some math happens, and then either you print or return. You could also ask the user and use the input function, but that's going above and beyond. This is the most I'm expecting right now. To do the opposite, if you are given grams, all you do is divide. So now I'm returning pounds, LBS equals grams divided by that conversion factor. And I change up my code down here to type in that variable I made, or return. Save my code. Notice here that I'm using both of them. I will see 2 numbers when I use this function. Grams to LBS. And let's put in 553.592. Yep, I get 2 ones. My functions work. I hope this was helpful in getting started with your assignment 3. The challenges will really push you in your understanding, and if you've coded and very comfortable, I highly recommend you try them. And especially if you're taking Algebra 2, as reviewing determinants will be useful for you come the final. Save. That's all. I'll walk around.